Alright, so I've been learning Java here lately, and I just thought I would show my family and my friends what exactly I've been learning here lately. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a new uh, little program, and I'm going to call this PeepCon. And pretty much what this script is that I'm building here is it's a script that will act as a blueprint for me to make objects, because this Java is an object-oriented programming language. Um, I'm going to make a little, I guess you could say, micro program that will allow for me to, instead of having to type out like lines of code for like every single object, I can create kind of a blueprint that will run multiple different objects for me. Yeah, I guess you'll understand, and I'll explain more later once I have this coded out more. But so now I'm gonna build the class, and we're gonna call it what the file is called. I'm gonna call it peepcon squiggly bracket. Pretty much what these squiggly brackets are, you can see when I highlight one of them, the other one becomes highlighted too. This kind of like marks where the start of the script actually happens. Like all this up here is like descriptions on what type of script I'm about to build. There's different settings you can type in here that makes Java do different things. But these squiggly brackets, you see this one like kind of points that way, that one's that way. Um, Anything that happens within this area in between these squigglies is the actual script, the actual commands, the actual programming I'm going to be typing. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much, if you see these, if you see me type these throughout this video, that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm just setting blocks. I'm not going to get too in depth with it because it's kind of technical, but so pretty much the reason why I call this PeepCon is it's a what this class is going to do, like I said earlier, it's like a blueprint for making objects. Well, the objects I'm going to be making in this are, it's actually going to be people. I'm actually going to like identify people with like a name, their age, their their gender, their skin color, their hair color, all that stuff. Essentially like a I guess ID documentation software. Um, so what I'm going to start out here with is I'm actually going to set variables that will be applied to these people, essentially like the different stats that will be applied to them. So first one is, I'm going to say string name. Pretty much what a string is in Java is it's any line of code that is pretty much like English words, so, like hi, how are you, like that would be a string. Then we're going to go down here and say int age. What an integer is in Java is just a number, any number like 5, 10, or 15, those are integers. Let's see here, I'm going to say string hair C. I'm going to know that this is just a little command that I've made for Java. It's going to be a hair color. Um, so yeah, let's go on here. What else could we do here? Let's say string gender. Yeah. Okay. And what else could I do? Um, let's just run with this. I think this is fine. Okay, so now what I'm gonna go down here. Oh yeah, and anyways, let me explain what these are. Little green letters here. Essentially what these first parts are is I'm telling Java like what type of information each of these stats or attributes are gonna be. Like here I've told that this line is going to be a string. And I name the string name, so I know that my person's name is going to be kind of uh, calculated by this line here. This is an integer. I'm saying that their age is going to be a number. I'm preparing Java to know that age, what I named as age, is going to be a number. And then string is, like I said, words, just like name. It's the hair color. It's going to come out like blonde or brown or red, whatever. A string is gender, like male or female or whatever. I'm not going to get too in depth with what I'm doing here. I'm just going to kind of show me building this program. But um, now I'm going to set what's called a method. And essentially what this method is going to do is it's going to take all of this information here, and it's going to be able to actually project it out in my command console down here. You can actually see where I kind of messed with this before, just experimenting. But it's going to essentially print. It's actually called an outprint. Any information that happens within my program. This is how you actually know what the program's doing. You can't have a program without output. That'd be stupid. So this method I'm going to be building here is called, so I'm going to set public void display stats, parentheses, and then curly braces. And I messed up there. One sec. Okay. So what I'm going to type now is sout, hit tab, and it automatically creates this line of code for me. It's a quick command. It's called system out print. This is the actual line of code, the actual command that will print out whatever I tell it to this command box down here, or this console, this viewing console. I'm actually going to need, because I have 4 different stats here, I'm going to need 4 of these. So hold on one sec. Let me, whoops, Control V, B, and V. Okay, so I'm going to say this person's, I don't want to capitalize that. This person's name is, and I will say this person's age is, this person's hair color, I don't know, I'm capitalizing that, hair color is, and this person's gender is. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to plug these actual stats into each of these so that it knows, what it's calculating. So plus name. You can see it automatically highlighted that. Java automatically identified that I'm referring to this attribute that I've created up here. Okay, so this person's age is plus age. Once again, highlighted. And then plus hair. C for hair color. And plus gender for gender. Okay, so I believe this is all I'm going to need for this. Now, this is what the con means here is this constructor. And like I said before, it's pretty much a blueprint. I'm going to use this to generate multiple different people with these stats. And that'll make more sense here in a second. I know this is kind of confusing. It's really tough to understand, but we're going to call this new Java file people. Go away. I don't need any of you up here. Okay, specify what package I'm working out of. I'm not going to explain that. It's a lot to explain here, just mostly showing off. Say class people extends, and I called that other one peepcon. Did I capitalize? Yes, I did. Extends peepcon. And let's see, public static void main. There we go. Okay, so what this means here is I'm telling this script, like essentially what class means is it's a script. Like this is a separate class from this, and class peepcon is, I'm pretty much saying that this class is named this. This class is named people. But I'm telling this script here, this class, that it extends peepcon, so it's an extension of this class. So essentially this is where I'm actually going to be generating the people, the actual names of the people and their stats, and this is just the machine that's going to kind of run it all for me. It's going to, instead of me having to type out all of this for each person, like literally all this for every single human that I'm going to be programming, I can just generate this and it'll run it for me. All I have to do is tell it what stats. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to make a, let's see, I'm going to make a person. Let's say we're going to call him people Bob equals new people parentheses semicolon. Okay, so essentially what this line of code is doing, it's really hard to explain, it's really technical, but I'm essentially creating a new person. I've just told Java, that within this people class where I'm actually going to be creating each person, create a person called Bob, and he is a new person. He's a new one of these people that's going to be in the class. Okay. Let's give him some stats. We'll say Bob dot. See right here, I have all of these. See these green words here. It's name, age, hair, C, and gender. These are here. If you'll notice that they're all right here because I told this script to extend PeepCon. So it automatically connects the two, and as soon as I put this dot here to try to, give Bob this new object or this new person I've created in the people class, it automatically knows that I'm gonna want to use these prefabricated stats here. So instead of having to type these out individually for Bob, I can just instantly generate them from another machine as many times as I want to for as many new objects as I want to create on down the line. So we're gonna start his name. Bob's name equals Bob. Semicolon. You got to put a semicolon at the end of every statement in Java. It's essentially telling it like, do this and then stop, go on to the next line. If you don't do that, I mean, for example, I take that away. Highlights in red. It literally says semicolon expected in that warning box. It's telling me that, you need that there. All right. His age is, let's say he is 23. Okay, Bob. His hair color is, let's say, blonde. And then his gender is male. Whoop, hold on. I have to put it in parentheses when it's a word. I have to put it in quotations. Numbers, you don't have to. Quotation. If you're making a word, you need to put it in quotations if you're making like stats for something. And then, let's say, oops, Bob display stats. And yeah. Okay, so essentially what I've done here is I'm actually referring to this here, display stats. This is a method I created called display stats, and it controls all of these outprints. Okay, so essentially what's going to happen is, now that I put this here, it knows automatically, to plug all this information into these corresponding stats into these for me, and then obviously these are plugged into these printouts. It's going to say like this person's name is, it'll check string name here, sees that it's correlated with Bob name, it'd be like Bob, and then we'll print this. So let's go here and run this. And as you can see down here, it says this person's name is Bob, this person's age is 23, this person's hair color is blonde, and this person's gender is male. And we can make another person. Let's do that. I'm going to copy paste this because I don't want to type all this out. It's kind of a waste of time. Oops. Okay, put this down here, line this up because I'm picky like that. And we'll name this person Lisa. Lisa is a new person. Okay, and we'll say Lisa's name is Lisa. Lisa's age is 46. Lisa's hair color is, say, black. And Lisa's gender is female. Okay, and I also need to change this, Lisa. Okay, so kind of what I did here, I created a new person. It just knows that, Lisa, which I'm referring to these attributes here, Lisa display stats is going to connect all these attributes because these have to do with her. Display stats is connected to this method here, and then it's going to connect, pretty much all these stats that I've put here to these, which are referenced in the outprint, and that's going to print out her information. I know that's really freaking confusing, and it's honestly hard to explain, and I'm not the best teacher, to be honest, but let's just do it anyways. See, it added her down here. This person's name is Lisa. She's 46. She has hair color of black, and she is female. And I could literally go on forever with this. Like, I could create hundreds of people like this. I would imagine that the police, or even employers, they have a system kind of like this where it keeps up with people and, where they live, age, and all that, attributes like this, like things that are about you, that identifies you as the unique person you are. I'd imagine a lot of places have software that runs like this. Obviously, it'd be a lot more in depth than this, I mean, I would need to develop on this more, but this is kind of a basic function that would be in a software like this. So yeah, this is some very basic, poorly described Java, but I'm falling in love with it and I'm enjoying the living shit out of it. And thank you for watching.